Alright guys, so today is September 1st, 2022, it's Thursday. So today marks 37 days I got left to finish my 55 for an upcoming event in October. And although it looks like it may be a little bleak on making it, it's really not. So the plan yesterday that I formulated was to prep the garage today and get this stuff painted. And then for the next couple of days, I was going to work on stainless steel parts on the buffer while this stuff was kind of curing out a little bit. And then I was going to, after 2 days of this paint curing out on its own in here in the shade, I was going to put it out in direct sunlight. But today had a different plan. It is, I guess, going to rain. It has cooled way off, which it's been cloudy all day long, but I've been hearing thunder. But it's not looking good. But anyway, I have the garage blown out, all the shelving units blown out, the ceiling, the fixtures, everything blown off. I've got everything sanded and ready. I just need to finish masking off the rest of the stuff. I've back taped the door, I've back taped the trunk lid, which I need to turn the trunk lid over because I'm painting the top of it. And I'm just painting the outer skin on this because I'd went through on the corner down here. So anyway, I've got the gas door ready. Gas filler door, I should say, and one paint divider ready. That is about the extent of the painting other than the hood, but I'm not really worried about the hood right now because I can drive the car without the hood. So, which the hood still needs some filler work and, you know, the main prime and then blocked and then probably a little bit more finishing putty work and then final prime and then wet sanded to paint. So the hood I'm not too worried about, but this is the biggest holdup I have on my car is trying to get this stuff ready. Painted, basically. So that was what I was going to do today, was get this stuff painted, but it is not in the cards because of the weather, because I have to push the 55 out, or take it out, which I was going to take it out here behind the house. I was going to drive it behind my house underneath the shade tree, and that way it's out of overspray, possibility of overspray, I guess you could say. Anyway, the wind's starting to pick up. It's probably going to rain, but anyway, I need to get this back in now, but hopefully it's not going to rain tomorrow, but be my luck, it probably will. So I went in and put the air cleaner assembly on, so when I park it under the tree, nothing falls out of the tree from squirrels or birds or whatever and knocks something down in the carburetor, and then I go back and start the car. But some of you guys new to the channel probably hasn't seen the air filter assembly on it, and that's pretty much what it looks like on there. There is lots and lots of custom stuff and hours put into this. This is nowhere near factory. And this is not store-bought stuff. This is all hand-built. So this is a factory 4-barrel air cleaner, but it is highly modified with a 4-inch piece of exhaust pipe. And then this is a mandrel bent piece of exhaust pipe that I added 12 inches to. This is a logo from a K&N air cleaner, and I've butt welded it in there. And the reason I did that was it makes it look like a store-bought part. And it's not. But this is my cold air system for the car. So I've custom built a bracket here, stepped speed holes and everything in it, and this will bolt to the inner fender. It also bolts into the back of the core support right there, and I've got rubber welting around this baffle that I custom made and the K&N cone on the outside, so it'll get pretty much just cold air into its throat instead of having a standard air cleaner on here that is going to catch nothing but the hot air that the fan's pulling back. So that will help tremendously. But anyway, my whole goal for when I was building the car was to make it look like, under the hood, like a factory 265 4-barrel V8, and I think I pulled it off. Even though everything's modified and custom, it gives that appearance with the Chevrolet scripted valve covers and the front oil fill and the water neck outlet that resembles the stock one, but also the 4-barrel air cleaner. But lots of custom stuff under the hood of this car, lots of stuff I made, and I'm so proud of it. I used a silicone hump hose here. This is what it's called, referred to as a hump hose. These are for, like in this case, this cold air pipe itself will be firmly mounted to the inner fender and core support that won't be moving, but the air cleaner will because the engines shake. So that's what this is for. But this is a factory 4-barrel air cleaner that I had bought 2 lids off of eBay and a base. The base is from a truck, 55 to 59 truck. It's stepped. But anyway, I took 2 factory lids that were really, really rough and beat up that nobody wanted, I think I gave 30 bucks for one and 40 for the other, but I cut they have a snorkel coming out the front of them, and I cut that area out and I cut it off the back of the other lid and butt welded it in there to make it all solid. I then put a piece of 4-inch exhaust pipe in the side of it at an angle, and then I drilled a whole bunch of holes in the base and then plug welded it in and then turned it upside down, and I've got self-leveling 2-part seam sealer laid into that rib right there. So this is now one piece. The ribs in here is factory, and I took a piece of steel bar that was the same width and I shaped it, fit it on here to have an extension that comes down on the piece that I put on, so it kind of gives it a unique look. This wing nut I handmade out of scrap steel. That is an exact replica of a 55 Chevy Hoodbird that'll be on the car. So I'm really proud of that. Drilled it and tapped it and made it all out of little pieces, and then MIG welded it all together and then hand filed it to shape it. But anyway, that was the look I was after, was to get it to look like an original 265 car in a way. I mean, I know it's not nowhere near looking original, but it gives that appearance, and I'm proud of it. I did a lot of custom little things to it that it really sets it apart from other people's cars, because I handmade all this stuff. Like the plug wire dividers. You can buy plug wire dividers, but they have plastic parts on them, and when you put them with heat from a header, they tend to melt. This is made out of square tubing, and I put them upright, built brackets and everything, so when you're at the front of the engine, you don't really know that there's spark plug wires in there other than the ones coming out the front. So I really like that part of it. I did get asked not too long ago about my throttle linkage, and this is all handmade. This is not anything I bought. I built the kickdown bracket with the, I call it a knife blade look in the back, and all it is 3-step speed holes, but it's different places to put a carburetor spring to make it tighter or looser or whatever I need to, so it's kind of adjustable. But these baffles right here, this is called a baffle. The factory ones are thin sheet metal, and they've got some beads rolled in them, and they always have a bunch of holes drilled in them and stuff because wiring comes through them and stuff like that. And this is thicker plate, so I didn't have to roll beads in it. It's more firm, and I've shaped it a little bit better than a stock one, but all the hardware is hidden. I welded studs on it, and the nuts are underneath the core support and on the inside down the side, so you don't even see any of the hardware bolting this on. I relocated the horns down low because the cold air cone is up here. These are even highly customized. I even took all the brackets apart. These were, the ends were rounded. Everything was blocked out, you know, body filled and blocked out and smoothed out, and then I put little 12-point ARPs and everything. Even the wiring will be semi kind of hidden from these as well. But I'm super proud of the car because of all them little bitty custom parts. Just when the car's finally put together with all the other stuff on it, it is going to be a really nice custom car that still looks stock in a way, and I am sure proud of it. The chassis is all plated in. The front of the tops of these chassis are really ugly, and this thing is all sheet metaled in and plated up, and it's really clean looking. I made my own engine mounts, cross member. The chassis has an X in the center. But I even used 3/16 steel brake line right here, welded tabs to it to use existing holes in the intake manifold, and I have my coolant temp sense wire running inside of it. It has a male and female insulated spade at the back, and when I go to pull the intake or the engine out of the car, I can just undo the spade and that can all stay on there. And I've got another one here that's made into this. It actually unbolts from it with these little Billet Specialties clamps, but that is for the probe for the electric fan. Just lots of little things I did to the car to make it my own. I have some pretty cool little covers that bolt on here that have step speed holes in them, so that'll look nice and trick, and you won't see that ugly front of that body mount showing. But they unbolt so you can easily access your body mount hardware. Anyway, I'm proud of that air cleaner. I even put on an aftermarket reproduction of the air filter decal. It's to me it's closer than what it looks, but the paint is the biggest holdup, and also the stainless steel trim, because some of it I still have to sand and polish, and then like the side trim I have to paint the inserts on with car paint and stuff. So I plan on doing all that this week. get that all rock and rolled out, or at least by this weekend. Here's another little thing I did that nobody's ever going to notice. A lot of guys will put that electric gas door in their tail light, and that's all neat and everything, but it's also super expensive. So what I did was, they have a little triangle indent that your finger goes in to get to the gas door, and I plated that in, and then I put a magnetic clicker in there, so when I want to open the gas door, I push on it and it pops it out enough to get my finger behind it. It's kind of like what some of the new cars have. But it's just a little subtle detail that nobody's going to notice, you know what I mean? And then I've got a separate video on all the dash, because there's lots and lots of hours in that dash, and that still looks like a factory 55. But it is coming together. At least now it runs. I still got to put a distributor in it. I'm hoping that comes in tomorrow. But it is a lot closer than what it may look like, in my opinion. You know, I've built a lot of cars through the years, and this is pretty much the downward slide, but the greatest thing about having one that runs, drives, and moves like it is right now, I can get in here and work on everything. But I got to get the paint work done, because that's like the biggest holdup right now is the paint. But the plan is to get that stuff painted hopefully tomorrow, and then while that stuff is curing out in the shade for a couple of days, I'm going to pull my bench out so I can get access to my buffer real good with them long stainless steel trim pieces. And I'm going to do all my stainless steel trim for the next couple of days while this stuff's curing out. And then I will lay that stuff out in the sun and then go ahead and start assembling stainless steel trim on the car. I still have to paint the inlays on the trim, which is something else I'm going to probably do either, you know, day after tomorrow or something like that. I have to go downtown and get some etching primer. I am out. So I use my last little bit on this paint divider here. So I need to go get a little bit more so I can do the trim on the side of the car. That's kind of keeping me from getting the quarter glasses and the window regulators and stuff in on the back part of the body. But anyway, I mean, I've got a few other little small things to paint, trim black and stuff like that, but I'm going to try to knock a lot of that paint stuff out this week, weather permitting, because I obviously can't drive the car behind my house if it's raining. And I sure hope it don't rain, because if I'm planning on driving that car in my yard tomorrow, my backyard turns into a swamp, and I sure don't need that car getting stuck in the yard and getting mud all over it. You know what I mean? That would be bad. So anyway, more updates to come as I get there, but I am not worried about not making it. I mean, once these body panels are painted and then I get them sanded and buffed, I can have a lot of stuff bolted on that car in just the course of a few days. The upholstery is the only thing that's really going to take a lot of work. And so I'm trying to give myself some comfort room for doing upholstery work, because I'm not a professional upholsterer. I have put hog ring seat covers on before, but this car I'm trying to go the extra mile, so it's got to look like a professional did it.